The act of touching the neck is a common behavior that people exhibit when they are feeling stressed or anxious. The reason for this is that the neck is considered a vulnerable area of the body, and touching it is a way to subconsciously protect it. The behavior can take on different forms, such as gripping the neck tightly, or lightly touching the hollow of the neck or a necklace. This behavior is believed to be linked to the fight or flight response, which is the body's natural reaction to perceived danger. When faced with a stressful situation, the body releases hormones such as adrenaline and cortisol, which prepare the body to either fight or flee the perceived threat. The act of touching the neck is thought to be an attempt to physically protect this vulnerable area of the body. Research studies have found that people who are more anxious tend to touch their neck more often than less anxious people. For example, a study conducted by researchers at the University of Portsmouth in England found that people who scored higher on measures of anxiety touched their necks more frequently than those who scored lower. The study also found that people who scored higher on measures of neuroticism, a personality trait characterized by feelings of anxiety and insecurity, also touched their necks more frequently. Additionally, a study by researchers in Finland found that people who were instructed to perform a stressful task touched their necks more frequently than those who were instructed to perform a non-stressful task. This supports the idea that the act of touching the neck is a response to stress and anxiety. Another study by researchers at the University of Haifa in Israel found that people who were asked to lie about their opinions in a conversation touched their necks more frequently than those who were asked to express their true opinions. This suggests that the act of touching the neck may also be a subtle indicator of dishonesty. It's important to note, however, that this behavior is not always an indicator of dishonesty. It may simply be a sign that the person is feeling stressed or uncomfortable in the situation. For example, in a job interview or high-stakes meeting, somebody might touch their neck as a sign of nervousness or stress related to the situation. It doesn't necessarily mean they are lying. It's also important to note that different cultures have different customs, and what might be considered a sign of dishonesty in one culture might not be in another culture. In conclusion, touching the neck is a common behavior exhibited by people when they are feeling stressed or anxious. It is a way to subconsciously protect the vulnerable area of the body and is believed to be linked to the fight or flight response. Studies have found that people who are more anxious tend to touch their neck more often than less anxious people, and it has also been associated with dishonesty. While it is not always an indicator of dishonesty, it may be worth paying attention to other cues and indicators to determine if someone is being truthful or not. It's also important to consider cultural differences. To sum it up, understanding the meaning behind nonverbal cues like touching the neck can be complex. It's always important to consider the context and other indicators, as well as cultural customs. The act of touching the neck can be an indicator of stress, anxiety, or dishonesty, but more research is needed to fully understand the nuances of this behavior.